Welcome to South King's Landing, Explosion Network's House of the Dragon after show, where we're discussing and breaking down each episode of House of the Dragon Season 1. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me, the Hand of the King, Ashley Hoblish.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here on an episode with a lot of depth, even though Eamon can't perceive it anymore.
Whoa! How long have you been sitting on that and feeling happy about yourself?
I was trying to work it. Okay. I knew I had to start with an eye joke. It's like...
Yeah, okay, I'll pay it. I'll pay that one.
Yeah.
This week's episode, Driftmark, directed by Miguel Sapochnik, written by Brian J. Condal and Kevin Lau, and the synopsis of which was, as the families gather on Driftmark for a funeral, Viserys calls for an end to infighting, and Alicent demands justice. What do you think of this week's episode?
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, it was a little bit of a slow build. Obviously, it starts off with that really awkward funeral scene, where it's like everybody's awkwardly standing around, looking at each other. It's like me at any screening. It's like, I know you people, but I'm too scared to talk to you. Yeah, and then obviously, a lot of stuff happens, and we had the big kind of breaking point between Rhaenyra and Alicent, where they kind of pretty much almost come to blows in the middle of this episode.
I mean,
which is pretty fantastic.
She stabbed her
after the children actually do come to blows, which was also fantastic. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like this episode further cemented Alicent as the villain of this series so far, which is interesting. Very little. I don't know. There might be some people who think she's in the right here, but yeah, definitely Team Rhaenyra.
Yeah,
even though she then goes on to marry her uncle.
We can't keep going down this road. It just you have to put aside that
after faking her husband's death. That's a new twist.
Yeah, I thought this might be my second favorite episode of the season, or maybe favorite. I know I'd have to rethink about it. I actually thought it was like one of the better. Like, it was just like really tense the entire time. It's just like a what do you call it? Like a pot boiler. You know what I mean? Like it's a slow build, but you just like the tension. I feel is
like a kettle.
Yeah, it's like you could cut that tension with a butter knife. You know what I mean? It's everywhere from the episode starts, and you just know something's going to go wrong eventually, and then shit starts going wrong, and then as shit sort of plays out the end, you're like, okay. Like every episode, we keep being like, yeah, like shit's about to kick off now. Like fucking, Dance of Dragons now, bitch.
Yep.
But this was the episode where you're like, by the end, you have the monologue and you got the VO happening with everything, and you're like, you're right, fuck, no, this was the episode. This is the one where they literally have that moment where, Alicent goes to stab her, and then they literally do a shot that's very much like, and draw a line, there's the sides. You know what I mean? Like,
yep, this is
yeah. You literally have Viserys walking off in the distance because he's going to fucking die and he's not going to be part of the sides. And then there's your sides, like that's
the two sides of the wall. Upcoming. Yeah, probably.
So, yeah. But yeah, I thought there was lots of just really cool, interesting things. And just so many people. I'm like, you're like, the amount of times I'm sitting there watching this show and just in my head, I'm like, fuck, you're a cunt. Like, just like, like the amount of different characters be sitting there watching Alicent and be like, fuck, you're a cunt. And then her son comes on, starts a fight after stealing a dragon, comes in and is just like, yeah, well, fuck your mother and fuck, all this. I'm like, fuck, you're a cunt.
Pretty much.
Know what I mean? Like, I was like, I just hate everyone. Yeah. Everyone, like, I don't know. You're saying like, oh, there might be some people who are on her side. I'm like, why? Like, she's fucking fuck her, man. Like, fucking bitch. Like, what is that like?
I mean, I can understand like she's obviously super righteous and like believing in the gods and religious and that kind of stuff. There might be some people who are more inclined in that direction. In which case, I also question why they're watching Game of Thrones. It seems like a weird franchise for you to be on board with. But yeah, there could be some people. Let us know in the comments. Tweet at us if you're Team Alicent.
No one's Team Alicent. Come on, get the fuck out. I can't believe that. The thing that
I'll put a Twitter poll up on our.
No, you do that.
Explosion.
Do that.
Yeah.
Twitter Team Alicent, Team fucking Rhaenyra. if that shit ain't 100% Rhaenyra, I don't know what the fuck's going wrong in the world. I don't know. Like, what's Rhaenyra done? What's Rhaenyra done?
You know, cheated out, had sex out of wedlock. Yeah.
Is that a crime?
Possibly. I don't know the laws.
Like, the worst thing she does is, as you know, fuck her uncle. I don't know. Like, in a show where that's not a bad thing. So, I mean, in a world where that's not a bad thing. But yeah, there was lots of cool stuff. I mean, I feel bad for those. Actually, like, felt sad for what the fuck is his name? Damon. I'm going crazy. I felt bad for his like kids who are just sort of now they're just like in every scene just crying in the corner and they had their mother's legacy trampled over, had her dragon stolen, and you know I was like, man, these kids are really getting fucked.
Yeah, it's interesting that you know they're kind of more they're on Team Rhaenyra as well. I guess they're like her children.
They are now. They're
like,
married. Like
yeah, but even before, like obviously they held little what's his face's hand.
Yeah, they like had a little bonding moment. But that's the thing. Like even from the outset of this episode, you have Rhaenyra's kids just like being like rather sweet, innocent kids. You know, they're like just sad and whatever. They're just being kids. You know, you got the other one who's like, oh, you're going to be bloody, you know, king of the seas or whatever. And then the kid's like, yeah, I don't want that. And he's like, yeah, but your birthright. And he's like, yeah, but if I have that, it means everyone else is dead. I was like, whoa, he's right though. Like, he's 100% right, but that's sad. And then you've got bloody Alicent's kids. One's just getting pissed up, fucking taking shots and getting drunk and passing out in the corner. The other one's stealing a dragon that doesn't belong to him. Fucking Grand Theft Dragon. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it was just sitting there. I mean, it's kind of like grave robbing. That's what he's doing.
Basically.
You know? Yeah, it was. I was upset. I didn't like that at all. I very much wanted that dragon just to eat him right there and there. Then and there.
Yeah. I was hoping for it.
You know, just, yeah.
Well, that second where he opened his mouth and the fire started like building up in the back of his throat, I was like, yeah, burn him alive.
I'm like, yes. This is going to be great.
Kill him. Jesus.
I mean, yeah. Also, you know, it's a Miguel Sapochnik episode, so it had to be set at night.
Did you?
It wasn't as bad as obviously it wasn't as dark as the episode in the last season of Game of Thrones. But
okay, so is this the thing? Did you actually have problems with it? Because I didn't have any problems.
No, I didn't have any problems. It was just amusing that it's obviously his.
Is this the thing? I haven't looked on Twitter. Is this a like a complaint or?
I don't think so. I think I'm just bringing it up
because the only time I really couldn't see shit was, and this doesn't help. Like OLED screens are already like really reflective. They don't like bright lights being shone at them. But for 1 second, I picked up my phone to check the time. And then as I like in my dark room, as the light of my phone lit up, suddenly I couldn't see shit. Like I picked it up during one of those dark scenes where on the beach or whatever, right before like Rhaenyra and Daemon start making out. Picked it up like 10, 15 seconds before that, just as they're talking. And yeah, for a second they just disappeared. So like, but when I put my phone away and there was no light in my room, I was good. I had no problem. I thought the cinematography was good in this episode, so I don't know. Maybe it's
there's a few people who have said they couldn't see stuff.
Okay.
Another person said the day for night shots look terrible. Or night, yeah, worst. House of the Dragon has some of the worst day for night photography I've literally seen ever.
Okay.
So,
well, I thought it was just all.
I mean, it was fine. I mean, it looked like it was at night.
Yeah,
so,
I could still. But
someone says, "Does anyone have any night vision goggles so I can watch tonight's episode of House of the Dragon?" So, yeah.
Okay. I personally had no problems. Other than, like, it definitely was dark, and it felt like they were nearly just using natural lighting. I'm not sure if like how much of that they actually had, but like I could still make out details. Like it wasn't so dark that I'm like, what the fuck is going? Like I was watching it fine. But I guess the fact that I even thought about it means that it definitely is darker than what you'd usually see. But yeah, I thought I appreciated it. I thought it was good. But yeah, the second I lit up something in my room, like the fact I couldn't see shit is a testament to how dark it was, I guess. So Maybe, but on the opposite end, maybe prior to that, I was having no problems because maybe it does look a little bit better on my OLED screen. I don't know, than other people. Maybe other people don't have. I mean, the fact you're what you're saying doesn't hold up for shit.
See, if my TV, I can see it all right on my TV, then what are other people watching it on?
I was gonna say maybe these other people need to like properly configure their TVs, but I bet you
on their phones or
stop watching on their fucking phones or something. I don't know. But this is the same as I could definitely tell when it's really dark. I had that. I don't know even what you call it. Like I could tell you get that little effect, and I can tell it's like a bit rate thing. This is what I talked about before, where I bet you if I was to watch this episode on a disc, it's going to look so much better because I can tell when it's having these like bitrate streaming issues, and Binge doesn't stream at 4K or anything like that. So yeah, no, interesting. What else haven't we talked about? Got so distracted on that. Viserys looks like he's basically on his deathbed.
Yeah, he certainly does.
Like he's
just struggling to get through each of these instances, taking like 5 years off his life. That's why we have to jump so far ahead, because he goes into a coma in between. He has to deal with all this shit.
It's probably true.
Yeah.
I was trying to think.
As someone pointed out, Viserys looks like this. Lord Corlys looks exactly the same.
Lord Corlys. Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does look. I mean, even Daemon looks. I mean, Daemon hasn't aged, so. I like the fact where that part where he comes up and he says, like, bad. He's like, oh, yeah.
The gods are not.
The gods are not. He's like, the gods are not kind, because he's trying to say he took his wife. He's like, gods ain't been kind to you. Like, it's like, yeah, that's true. What the fuck? What's the other thing I was going to say? How do you feel about the ending where they, do you think that Daemon, they were just going to have him murdered, but then, like, his friend or whatever who he paid to have him kill him, just like he just got him in on it so they could escape together? That's how I took it anyway.
No, I think
or do you think Rhaenyra had something to do
I
with
don't think they wanted to kill him.
I think Daemon's
happy. You could totally read it that they could have staged it that way.
Yeah, I feel like Daemon would be very happy to kill him.
Yeah, the way Daemon worded it, it's very easily to go, oh, he wanted him dead.
Yeah.
But I don't think you go to that person and want Rhaenyra dead. You know what I mean?
No. So
don't think that Carl would have ever killed.
No. It's like a big setup though. So they he comes in with a witness, so they can start fighting. And as soon as the witness one's off, they just, I guess, pieced out. Brought in
They got some corpse from the
got some corpse or something. Yeah, chucked his boots on it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, ultimately, it's actually, and the way Daemon says, do this, it'll be good for him. It is actually true if that's what their plan was all along, not to actually kill him, because it does mean that now Rhaenyra gets to just go off and live the life he wants instead. So it is actually better for him. I don't feel like it's a bad thing at all.
Well, it's better. Of course, it's better for Rhaenyra if he's not dead.
Well, I mean, like him not having,
as opposed to him to staying in the marriage.
Yeah, him staying in that marriage, I don't feel like was doing anything for him. Like him being the the only bad side is that his parents obviously think he's dead. That is the torturous side, which they do point out.
And his kids.
And
I assume.
Well, I don't think that
no. Yeah.
His kids don't. His kids are well aware they're not. That's not actually his father, and I think
one of them is.
Okay, one of them's maybe, but one's definitely 100%. So, yeah. So I don't. Other than like agreeing that it's going to upset his parents, then everyone else is sort of getting what's best for them and how it all plays out and whatever else. So that's quite good. Anything else in this episode? Major things that I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I missed, like major themes, major things.
Well, I mean, Otto's come back, so that's
his comeback.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I told you like that. As soon as they mentioned him last episode, I was like, I bet he just shows up next episode. Yep, there he is. They just have one shot of him having the pin on. Don't need to see the conversation of how he got back in. He got back in. Whatever.
Yeah, I do love the line that Daemon gives Otto at the funeral. It's like, no matter how fat the leech grows, it always wants another meal as soon as he comes back. I think that's such a good line for Otto, who could happily live out his days, away from King's Landing, but desperately wants to come back. I think the conversation he has with Alicent at the end of the episode is really interesting, and like, this obviously was the first time he believed that she's learnt something in this time that he's been away and is capable of. She's
just become a bitch, is what she's become. How about that? She was a nice, innocent girl, and then you fucking turned her into this absolutely monster.
Yeah.
How can you be Team Alicent? I don't understand. Like, this, like, she's horrible. Like, she's like, oh.
Maybe you're just very anti-incest.
Her fucking kid literally grave robs someone, steals a dragon, then comes in, starts this fight. All the other kids stick up for themselves. He was going to smash that other kid's face in with a fucking rock. He loses an eye.
The kid just swings a knife. Didn't mean to take the
knife.
Yeah,
he defensively fucking swung a knife. He got what he deserved. Fuck him.
He did.
Fuck them kids.
And he admits he was happily paid that toll because he got that dragon, the biggest one of them all, which could shape if there was ever to be an actual fight between the Targaryens, would be a very handy dragon to have on their side.
Yeah, and bloody old mate Hightower's just like, yeah, it probably worked out for the best. That dragon's worth a lot. Good job, grave robbing kid. Love that for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then she comes in and is like, I need to take an eye for an eye. And then old mate, Clubfoot, oh, do you want me to get the eye? Fuck him too. Like, this show, like, I got so used to not watching Game of Thrones for a couple of years. I'm now back to used to it. Now I'm just like, have to get back used to watching this show and just getting wanting to, like, yeah, fuck you. Like, fuck you. Fuck this character. Fuck these people.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, like, at the end of the episode, Alicent, at the start of the episode, she was trying to ignore old Clubfoot. At the end of the episode, she's like,
oh, there's a time when I'll call on you and appreciate your services.
Discretion.
And he's like, ooh.
Yeah, he's a weird
motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I do want to touch back on that. Obviously the confrontation scene. I do love Daemon stopping Sir Criston from like
doing shit,
but also him stopping himself and realizing like she asks him to take the kid's eye, and he's like, I'm only sworn to be your protector. He's like, I don't think he would have, if she had said he was looking for an excuse not to take that kid's eye. Maybe that was a line he wouldn't have crossed. But he did laugh during, I can't remember exactly what line, but he was smoking.
Something about...
Oh, when they said... the
bastards.
They obviously brought up the bastards thing, and like, Viserys is questioning Aegon. Aegon says, you heard it from Aemon.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, huh? Me?
Yeah, and then he says, like, everyone knows or whatever.
Surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Sir Criston too. Piece of shit.
Just keep it going. But yeah. Also, the Rhaenyra line, everybody sees you fought Joanna now. Yeah. When she's cut her arm open.
Yeah.
Or about to stab her, yeah.
Piece of shit. This is, it's funny because, like, I actually feel like it was last episode that, or even the episode before. So it was 2 episodes ago that Alicent, when she decided, like in episode 4, I guess, or 5, whatever it was, the last time we had her as a kid. It
was episode 5 before the time jump.
Yeah, before time jump, when she comes in wearing the green, was when she decided that she's fighting this war. This is before anyone else that she thought was her opposition decided it was even a fucking thing. Yeah. Now it's 2 episodes later, after all the bullshit, that now at the end of this episode, Rhaenyra's finally like, okay, I'm playing the game. Because even after everything that went down last episode, Rhaenyra's like still not really. She's still trying to meet in the middle and being like, let's marry our kids and like all this stuff to make peace. And then has to run away at the end. Like it's not until the end of this episode that Rhaenyra's like, all right, I'm in the fight. Meanwhile, Alicent's been over there thinking she's having this big old battle for over 10 years. Yeah. Like, fucking psycho.
Yeah, at some point, Rhaenyra's like, in the beginning of the episode, Rhaenyra's like, I don't think Alicent will do anything.
She's like, I don't think Alicent should do anything. But then then Alicent goes to stab her kid in the fucking eye. So so that's kind of the turning point.
That is the turning point where she goes, hey, Damon, we need to join our houses, Not just because we enjoy fucking each other, but because, it makes...
Because you're a psycho motherfucker.
Political sense.
And they'll be scared. So...
Man, Matt Smith is great. Just him watching on in that scene as well. Hilarious.
So which one? The fight?
The fight, yeah.
I appreciate that he doesn't run to her like protection, that he just keeps Sir Christian out of it.
Yeah.
He's like, she's got this. So, before we wrap up, this bullshit poll, 90% Team Rhaenyra with 20 votes at the moment, and 10% on Team Alicent after 10 votes. What the fuck are you, sick piece?
So that means there's 2 people.
Out of 20, out of 20.
2 out of 20,
So far. You sick.
The only thing I think, Olivia Cooke, she's very pretty.
I don't give a fuck.
She put out the Versace set this week.
I really think that is bullshit. And put that bullshit. I also think she's homophobic. I think Alicent's homophobic.
Probably. I mean, if you're super righteous in that kind of thing.
She's throwing out these comments about like Rhaenyra being out with toy boys or whatever, all this stuff.
He was probably out entertaining the wards or whatever.
Yep. She's fucking...
I mean, accurate, but...
I don't know. It came across as a little bit,
Where was Lane all this entire time?
I mean, I was hard to get angry at him. His sister did just die. I was like, I get you're probably out having a hard time.
He's probably out grieving. He was super sad in the water. And then he has that... I love that scene between him and Rhaenyra where he's like, I'm going to double down on being a husband. Yeah.
But she knows she knows and we know. Too little too late, mate. Like, it's the shit, like, the shit's fucked. He's trying to come in and do the right thing after shit's fucked. But shit is fucked. Like, she just got stabbed. The kids are all in the fight. Like, it's the time's passed. I don't know. I don't know. I do appreciate Rhaenyra in that set. Like, I like how Rhaenyra doesn't get pissy at him. Like, she knows, he was grieving or whatever. I like how she says, and that's the thing. Like, how can you be Team Alicent? Rhaenyra's like fucking for gay rights. Like, she is though. She's like, we got forced into this marriage, in this anti-fucking LGBTQ plus world. And she's all for him out, living his true life. They're trying to make it work.
Yeah.
She's fucking...
They even tried a couple of times, apparently.
Yeah.
She's
an ally. Alicent's fucking...
It's interesting, yeah.
She's a fucking homophobic, right-wing piece of shit. Psycho piece of shit.
I do remember one line that did make me laugh. It was during the funeral. During the opening speech or whatever, during the eulogy or whatever, the guy's saying, and there's a line about stopping our blood from running thin.
Yeah, and then Damon laughs.
And then Matt Smith starts laughing. Starts giggling. It's like... And then she opens up to him and pretty much tells him, Harwin was the father of her children.
Yeah.
Even though I guess it was an open secret.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, this fucking Twitter poll. Bullshit.
This is going to make you angry. Can't believe these people.
I can't believe them. You sick fucks, honestly. Anyway, I wrap this up before I get doing my head in. That'll do it for this week's episode of South of King's Landing. Check out all our other podcasts at explosionhour.com for more, including Lord of the Rings Extended, Middle Earth podcast, all new Malvercast, where we're talking about She-Hulk for another 2 weeks. What do you want to watch for everything else, movie, TV, media related, and in the world of the sky and the stars? Check it out, Holocron Entries, where we're discussing going rogue and/or at the moment. So you got fantasy, you got sci-fi, you got everything else in between. What do you want to watch? You got fucking superheroes on your Malfcast. Follow all the podcasts. Council for this week is over. Join us next week for another episode of South of King's Landing.